Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of things have happened. We had Deku, and we also had the crew, Mina, Mark, and Kentaro. Now, these four, whenever Deku was using the Omnitrix to try and study All Might, were attacked by bounty hunters. 3 to be specific. Now, as it turns out, one was on their side and was helping Izuku. Deku, he was captured after he took down Crab by 6-6. And 6-6, he almost had Izuku. Deku was trapped in energy bindings, which were shocking him and hurting him. Mina came to rescue him, and Tetrax, the Diamond Head alien, came in to fight 6-6. Now, Deku stole the man's hoverboard and got away. Him and Mina. And Tetrax was definitely both impressed and annoyed. He called back his board and went out to try and find the wielder once again, along with 6-6, who currently was going through a few things. He was definitely annoyed that the wielder of the Omnitrix eluded him, but at the same time, this is a challenge. A cat versus a cat, not a game of cat and mouse. Though, Izuku doesn't know what it means to truly use his claws. Now, with that being said, for the rest of the day, Deku, he was informed by his grandfather to lay low and not use the Omnitrix, because of exactly what happened already. They can track the energy signatures of the watch. If he activates it or turns into an alien, they'll find him, and they might kill him. It's already bad enough that a plumber facility was already wrecked. I mean, it can be rebuilt, but it will take time. But right now, they should be all thankful that's all that happened. Deku, he did get a few bumps and bruises. However, those will heal. And Izuku currently just won't sit there. Later the same night, thinking about a few things. They got away from that guy. The guy with the jetpack. He's already had a few ideas as to try and take him down. He has 2, but one of them doesn't seem very good. I mean, there is the idea with Upgrade, but then there's also an idea with Gray Matter. It doesn't seem as good. I mean, if he's at this as a Gray Matter and he gets shot, that's a very big wound to try and deal with. I mean, there's really all that to it. Izuku's not too sure how to proceed with everything. His grandpa told him not to watch the news, not to watch TV, or to look on the internet for this guy. And Deku, he's fairly certain he knows why. He's supposed to be a hero, and this guy is trying to lure him out. Right now they're leaving it to the pros. And 6-6, he definitely is very annoyed. He thought the wielder of the Omnitrix would be simple and easy to lure out. But the humans on this world, they definitely are resilient. Though, they are still lesser than him. Now, currently 6-6, he went into retreat. Him going back up to Vilgax's ship to replenish his own supplies, along with pick up some additional gear. Meanwhile, Tetrax, he was still trying to find Izuku. He was still waiting for anything to happen. So far, he does have some leads, but not very many. And that is a problem. Now, with that being said, we do currently cut to Izuku, who he is sitting there somewhat messing around with the dial on the watch. However, he has not pressed the button. And Izuku, he is listening to the sounds the Omnitrix does go to make. And right now Mina does the walkover. Her sitting down a soda in front of Izuku and going to actually walk over and sit down herself. Cracking it open, asking about it. So, what's it really like? Huh? I mean, turning into aliens. You turned into that freaky ghost thing before, and that was weird. Yeah, I've also turned into Wild Mutt, Stingfly, Forearms, all of them. But I don't know, ghost? Yeah, ghost. That doesn't sound right. Hmm. He's just, he's a bit off. I don't really feel right whenever I'm like him. Really? Yeah, but there's also Ripjaws. I mean, I can't really breathe as him either. My throat gets scratchy and dry, and I just feel like I gotta chug down water. Don't you grow gills? Yeah, I do. I mean, I just, I've got a lot on my mind. Do you think that that guy would have killed us? Huh? I, I don't know. Where's Grandpa and Mark? Oh, um, they're testing out a few things in the forest. They said that right now they need to make sure that all their tech is recalibrated. Everything's good so far. I don't know. They've just been evasive about a lot. Yeah, they have been arguing a lot. Though, are you sure they've told us everything? Huh? Yeah, I'm just saying. I don't fully understand what this thing here means, but it's powerful enough for people to want it. I mean, kill for it. Grandpa said it's a big responsibility, but not being able to stop that guy, it's messing with me a bit. Really? I just, I feel quirkless again. Sorry about that. It's not your fault. Deku bringing his hand down, cracking open the top, and talking about a few things. Maybe they just need to find out more, ask more questions, and find out what it means to really be a plumber. And currently there actually is 6-6, who the next day he would go back down to Earth to cause a bit of problems. However, right now, let's not focus on him. Let's cut to Mark and Kentaro. The two, both in the forest, right now, doing a few things. Currently, the two of them do sit there. They do have a few pieces of gear, and they have been making sure that everything is stockpiled and categorized correctly. They need to be prepared. And currently, the two, they do get to send out a broadcast on emergency channels. As right now, the two, they are discussing a few things. So far, currently, they are dealing with bounty hunters who are after the Omnitrix. Whoever hired them, they do not know at this time. However, one of them does appear to be on their side. They're not fully too sure how well they can trust them, but for right now, they have not been a threat. They are a diamond-headed alien, one of the species inside of the Omnitrix, and the other alien, they have no information on. So far, they have been aggressive, and they have shown that they are out for blood. To anyone hearing the broadcast, do understand. Assistance might be needed for this threat, and the level for it right now is urgent. Now, these two do talk about it. There are 3 different threat levels right now for the plumbers. Not immediate, immediate, and urgent. And then there is another one they haven't used in some time. Deathly. And that means quite a lot. The plumbers have their own codes. And right now, while they may not be following galactic standards, they are following some earthling ones. Since there's also a third and, well, a fifth and final scenario. Or, no, there's a fourth one. God, how many did I say? Urgent, immediate, not immediate, deathly, right. Apocalyptic, there we go. Now, it does mean quite a lot. And everyone, they are kind of concerned. The plumbers who do receive the message, they are all talking about a few things. And currently there is a man sitting there in a shop somewhere in America. He got the message, and he has been listening in. He wants to provide assistance, but right now he's been dealing with his own threat. trying to track it down and hopefully put an end to it. Because the thing after people here, it's definitely been a lot more aggressive. It's been wild, too. And currently that is where that person's at. As somebody else, they were tinkering away in a workshop, and they heard about the threat. The man, staring at his communicator, listening in, wondering exactly what they can do there. And currently there actually is the next day. 6-6. Currently he is chasing after Deku. And Deku, he actually is running. He's not too sure where he's going. He's not too sure what to do. However, he does hear the voice in his head. It screams out his name. And Deku, he does always jump awake whenever 6-6 landed right in front of him and brought up his hand. Him about to fire a laser directly between the eyes. And Deku fell out of his bed and actually sat up. Ow. You okay, Zuko? I'm fine, Grandpa, just freaking out a bit. I'm okay. Right. Listen, we gotta get on the move. Deku going to turn, and you see that Mark has already been driving. And Deku, he does try to ask his grandpa, exactly what happened last night? What do you mean? You two came back to the RV and you were talking about a few things, but you didn't explain fully. You said I'd understand whenever I'm older, but what does that mean? Couldn't you tell me for my birthday? Izuku, it's not like that. Listen, I've told you before, in this line of work, a lot of bad things can happen. You can lose people close to you, and others can get hurt. There's nothing to prepare you for that. Especially if you... Now, Mark will go to turn, asking the kids exactly if they want to stop someplace to get breakfast. And currently, Mark is going to turn, staring back at Ken, as Ken has had the same expression in his eyes. And Deku, he does pick up on that. Mark looks a bit freaked out, and his grandpa, his hand is somewhat shaking. And Deku, he does just drop it for right now. As there is for everyone, they do go inside and sit down to have something to eat. And Deku, he currently is somewhat still fumbling around with the dial in his hand. As there actually is where Ken is a turn, seeing Deku messing around and asking him what he's doing. Nothing. It makes these sounds and I'm messing around. Zuko, be careful with that. No, I got it. I'm fine for right now, Grandpa. As long as I don't press this button, it shouldn't send out a signature, right? But wait a second. Izuku? No, Grandpa, I have an idea. I mean, the guy's after me, right? Izuku, just don't. I'm thinking, okay? If I just press this button, he'll come to us. Uh-huh. Right. And if we can, I can use Upgrade to mess with his tech. I mean, get into his suit and disable it. Then we can take him down. Take him down? Do we have to, Grandpa? I'd rather not, but if we need to, Izuku, we will. That watch is very important. And you are important to me. Sure, Grandpa. Now, Deku does sit there, and Mina herself is biting into her chocolate chip pancakes. As Deku, he is still picking his own food. And currently there actually is later. Whenever everyone does get back on the move, they finally start to hear about a few reports. Especially because there's one report that is concerning. There is somebody out there right now who is tearing apart people. And they are making a public display of it. They went to downtown of a city and started blasting away, firing missiles and energy beams. And they've also been quite adamant about how much destruction they can cause. So far, numbers are still coming in. But over 80 people have been theorized to be injured, and at least a minimum of 15 to 20 are theorized to either be seriously injured or possibly dead. And right now, there actually is Ken, who does think that the heroes can handle this, as right now he's going to turn down the knob on the radio. And there actually is Izuku, who does get to do one thing. Right now, he does think. They're talking about the next city over, right? That's a few minutes from here, but if he does turn into upgrade... Deku looking at the Omnitrix. And right now he has to do one thing. He has to press the button. And the moment he does, there actually is the dashboard of the rust bucket, which does get a ding as Ken does a turn, yelling out for Izuku not to press the button. And there actually is 6-6, as him and Tetrax do both have their devices go off. And Vilgax does see the Omnitrix's energy signature pop up. Now, Vilgax does get a smile, since the wielder of the Omnitrix is playing hero. And there actually is Deku. Deku, he does do one thing. He bought himself a few minutes, and now Ken does a pull over the RV and shout, telling Mark to get in the driver's seat, as Mark does a turn and stare at the console. Him pressing autopilot on the dash, as right now he does a turn. The RV moving back forwards, as he's going to stand back up, trying to talk about a few things. Ken doesn't want Izuku to face this guy. Let the plumbers handle it. They're already calling in help from overseas, and that has been quite a lot. Phil will get them the null void projector, and once they have that, this guy's as good as gone. There's nothing else really to it. That's all they need. 6-6 can stay there for the rest of his life and, well, hopefully not be a threat anymore. And that's the main concern. And currently there actually is Izuku, who does try to defend his actions against his own grandpa. Him talking about how people were being hurt because he had the watch. And Ken, he did like his grandson's attitude, but his way of executing things needed more work. And Deku, he did just stare down at the Omnitrix. It still with upgrade right there on display. And Deku, he started to wait, telling his grandpa about his grand idea. And right now Deku, he doesn't have to wait very long, especially because 6-6 does really come smash into the RV, bringing his hand down, cutting into it with an energy saw, and ripping into the RV top. And Deku does a slam down the button as he a turn into upgrade. Yes! Okay, good. He meant to do this one. Oh god, if it turned him into Ripjaws, this could seriously be a problem. Deku looking up, and none of the actions of the panel is pulled back, and 6-6 doesn't stand there. Him currently bringing his hand down and going to try to throw down a grenade. Deku going to look down and run over. Him bending down, grabbing the grenade, and actually frying the wires inside. Him looking back up and throwing his hand outwards, as he's going to throw himself directly into 6-6. The man currently going to somewhat throw himself upwards and backwards. Him having a jetpack blast away, as currently him and Deku do go flying through the air. And Ken is a lot more panicky. Him going to stand up and tell Mark, stay here. He's going to go save his grandson. And that's where Mark, he is at least going to turn. Him talking about how he can't do that alone. And this is where Ken is going to talk about it. He's not alone. He just has to get his uniform on. Now, currently Deku, him and 6-6 are flying through the air, and the two do go smashing into a building, them flying through it and through multiple walls. As 6-6, he is trying to bring his hand down to his belt. And Deku, he is using what he can inside the suit to keep 6-6 both restrained and take him for a bit of a joyride. This is a lot of fun. And currently the two do go smashing into a wall as they do go flying backwards, them smashing another building and falling down towards the ground. The two go to land, and currently Deku does feel a bit strange, as he starts to hear a voice in his head. You think that you're clever. Who is that? Deku looking around, and things don't feel right. Currently things start to change, and Deku, he finds himself floating, as he also feels the sensation of falling, before he finally does a smash down and land onto... what is this? Him hearing the claws, them folding down into a fist as Deku does almost just scream. And right now, they're actually where 6'6 does regain control of his suit. As Deku, he has a look around, him hearing Vilgax's voice in his head, along with actually Vilgax bringing his massive hand up, and Deku, he has to watch him open it up. Deku is staring up at the massive squid as he starts to shout out about how the Omnitrix is not a toy. It is his key to universal domination. And the fact that a mere child has possession of it does say quite a lot. Whenever he gets his hands on the boy, he will make him one simple offer, one simple deal. Hand it over willingly, or he will kill him. He will take it from his very corpse. And that does not surprise Deku. Vilgax is going to continue. However, there actually is 6'6", who is going to press a button on his suit, as right now a magnetic pulse is sent out. And right now, Upgrade, he is thrown off of 6'6". The man currently going to bring his hands up and look at his tech. Some of it has been fried. However, the parts of it that are protected, they are still working. And Deku, he actually starts to somewhat ooze away. Him going down and sliding under a car. Now, Deku's trying to get his head back on straight, get himself back together. And currently 6'6", he has to bring his hand up. Him grabbing at the vehicle and going to turn, tossing it up into the air and trying to search for Deku, bringing his hand down and grabbing something on his belt. As right now 6'6", he is not happy. His, well, mounted laser guns are all disabled. And he only does have really one weapon here that can help him out. Him currently going to activate his gun. Now, 6'6", he's trying to check on his targeting system. Him trying to also make sure his mounted guns might be able to come online. If the systems are all down, but the weapons are also still able to be used, that just makes this more interesting and fun. More of a worthy hunt and a show of skill. And that has been quite a lot, as currently he is trying to throw cars out of the way to find Izuku. And Deku does do one thing. Currently he has to take over a car, the car going into reverse and smashing right into 6'6". As Deku, he does keep going in reverse, him turning the vehicle and getting away from pedestrians, as he does smash the car directly into a wall, him driving it forwards and smashing it back again, over and over, before 6'6" does to bring up his feet and push onto the back of the car, him holding it backwards as it is actually starting to dent into the vehicle. And Deku, he does sit there, him currently going to accelerate forwards and turn left, him trying to speed away from 6'6". Now, Deku is a bit confused. That guy, who was he? I mean, his face, the name in his head, it starts with V. I mean, his name, Vilgax? Then on Deku's mind, the massive alien guy. Okay, so is that who's after the Omnitrix? An ultimate weapon? Universal conquest? What the fuck is on his wrist? That on Deku's mind. As currently Deku is still somewhat driving, and 6'6" is already back up in the air and back in the action, chasing down Izuku as he have both of his pistols out firing at the vehicle, him blasting away and trying to take down Izuku. And Deku, he actually doesn't want to turn, him facing backwards in the car and trying to shoot out lasers from his eye. And 6'6" is dodging away, trying to make sure not to be hit. As currently there is Tetrax, who himself is following Deku's energy signature. And currently, the man, he is flying down as he sees in the distance 6'6" blasting away at somebody, assumably Izuku. And Deku, yeah, he is definitely very annoyed. As right now Deku, while he is driving down the highway at high speeds, 6'6" is flying right past him. And the man, he currently has to bring his hand up, him blasting out the road as Deku does a smash into a pothole, the car flipping through the air as Deku gets set flying off of it, him currently flying through the air and smashing onto another vehicle, him taking over as right now he is trying to get away again. However, there actually is one sound Deku does hear. Right now the Omnitrix going to start beeping. And Deku is going to think. Him reforming himself back into the driver's seat and continuing to try and drive. As the beeping does a stop. And Deku, his foot does not reach the pedal. Him, currently someone going to bend down and smash down onto it. The car still driving at 6 is a smash down, landing onto the vehicle. And right now the man, he has to bring his hand up, smashing directly into the driver's seat smashing through the windshield as he's grabbing to the driver's seat, trying to reach down and grab for Izuku. Him actually being able to grab Deku by his shirt and rip him out of the window. Him currently holding him up and going to smash him down into the vehicle. Him bringing up his weapon and putting it right to Deku's throat. As he is to radio into Vilgax, a live feed. However, as they do so, there actually is Kentaro, who does come flying with some jet boots, him smashing right into 6-6 and getting him off of Izuku. And Deku, he actually a lot more alarmed, him holding onto the car as he's going to turn, and see that they're heading for crap. Now, the car is going to smash into an object, Deku being sent flying through the air as there actually is Tetrax, who does come flying in and grabbing Izuku out of the air, him continuing to fly. As there actually is Ken, who right now he is trying to battle against 6-6, the two both floating there in the air. And now 6-6 is a lot more annoyed. Him gonna manifest the arms out of his suit and grab onto a gun, as currently their actions are Kentaro does a bring his arm up, blasting on a wire, grabbing at the tiny arm, him pulling it down, and now actually making 6-6 scream out in pain, since a bone in that arm just broke. Now, 6-6 does bring up his hand, smashing the man in the head as Ken is sent flying downwards and he's trying to resteady himself back out. And right now 6-6 is a turn looking for the wielder. However, he does know Tetrax has him. And that does mean quite a lot. This being where 6-6 is to continue on his pursuit. Now, currently Deku is set down on the board, and Diamond Head does try to tell him about a few things. He tried to use the upgrade alien, didn't he? Yeah, I did. I got into his suit, but I didn't short him out. Smart tactic. You took down his systems and made most of them go offline. Did I? Wait, what? Huh. Right. Listen, kid. You handled it pretty well, though you didn't fully take him down. Though you are wearing him down. Listen, just let me take it from here. I got him. No, you need help. How about you focus on the board? You know how to pilot one of these things, right? Yeah? Good. I'm going to turn. And I'll bring his hands up, blasting away at 6-6 as he is flying in, bringing his own weapons, and going to actually blast out. Right now, Diamond Head going to turn and tell Izuku to lean. Now, Deku's going to do so. Right on the board, leaning through the air as it is evading attacks. And Deku, he is trying to keep his balance as best as he can. However, this is honestly a lot of fun. Now, there actually is the rust bucket, which does good to see Deku and the guy flying through the air. And Mark does a look up. Him seeing Izuku and this guy working together. And actually does something to reassure him. Him going to actually radio in to Ken about how the guy is on their side. And that does give Ken a bit of comfort. However, right now, he's flying through the air trying to catch back up, as there actually is 6-6, who unfortunately is in a bad spot. Currently, the rust bucket does have a few things that 6-6 doesn't. Number one, it has weapons that all do work, and there actually is even Mina, who currently she does do one thing. Wherever 6-6 does come into view, she actually does somewhat lean out of the window, her bring her hand up trying to blast out at 6-6. And the man did not appreciate that, him dodging out of the way and moving. As there actually is Diamond Head, he does keep blasting away at 6-6 himself. And there actually is Mark, who does do one simple thing. He does talk about what they do need to do. And Deku, he actually is trying to mess with the watch again, getting it to activate. However, it still has not dialed in another hero. There we go. I keep almost biting my tongue today. Now, currently Deku, he does have a lot going on. As there actually is where Diamond Head, the guy is blasted off his board. Him currently being sent flying down, smashing into the highway below. And Deku does a turn. Him currently staring at the alien as the man is catching up. Him blasting in, as right now he actually is putting his jetpack on full blast. And there actually is Ken, who does have to bring up his own hand. Him getting ready and trying to aim up a shot. However, there's only one problem. 6-6 is right there, but in front of him is Izuku. And the man, he's trying his best not to hit his grandson. However, he has to do one thing. He has to try and breathe in. And remember Vilgax. Him blasting on a beam and going to actually shoot it right out. It blasting into his jetpack. As around 6-6, he doesn't feel the explosion rock him forwards. Him grabbing onto the board and having his claws rip into it. As around the man, he doesn't sit there. Him bringing his hand up, grabbing for Izuku. And Deku does a turn. Him bringing his foot up and smash the guy in the face. Now, 6-6 is sent flying off of the board. Him, with his back covered in flames, as right now he does is sent smashing down to the highway below. And he has been taken down. And Deku, he does still fly the hoverboard. Him, currently, trying to fly back around to the RV. And Deku, when he does it to land, he definitely is in a lot better of a spirit. Since this guy, yeah, he was definitely a very good threat. Or, well, a big threat. He hurt a lot of people and now he's been defeated. I mean, his first super villain enemy? Well, from what the Diamond Head guy said, he was a bounty hunter, so a hired gun? Whatever. Though, Vilgax, that was the name that he has in his head, whenever he merged with a tech. Okay, so there definitely is that. Now, right now Tetrax, he does have 6-6 in custody, and he is somewhat talking about how he's definitely a bit more impressed with what the wielder of the Omnitrix can do. Though, he will say this. Alien tech in trying to take it all down? Yeah. He did pretty good there. But most of 6-6's tech was made to combat the Omnitrix. So you will give him some credit. Though it also did take some real physical power. He knew when to use brain and brawn. And he does like that Izuku knows the difference. And Deku, he does don't smile. Currently, him holding onto the hoverboard and talking about it, bringing his hands down and looking at it. This is yours. Hold on to it. Huh? But what? But this is... Consider it a gift. Besides, you don't know when you might need it again. Think of it as insurance. From me, that is. Sometimes you need help. And sometimes you gotta know when to fight. Your grandpa here. Him bringing his hand up, talking about it. He definitely was a pretty good help. Lucky shot, too. Wasn't luck. Training. And a little bit of nerves. Right. Listen. Hold on to it. I'll take 6-6 here in Crab and get them locked up. Make sure they don't bother you again. Though, do be aware. There's someone after the Omnitrix. Now, everyone, they do have eyes on Izuku. And Deku doesn't talk about it. He heard their name. I mean, he saw it whenever he was merged with the guy's armor. I mean, it's this one weird guy. Big head, green skin, red eyes, and tentacles on his face. The guy's name was Vilgax. Now, Mark and Ken do immediately have their eyes widen. The two, so I'm going to look at each other, as right now there actually is Deku, who does get a turn, seeing his grandpa, and Mark look disturbed, a lot more alarmed, and he does try to ask, who's that guy? Now, Tetrax does a turn, staring at these two humans, understanding that they might know more. Because, from what he does understand, they've dealt with that man. At least they thought they did. He heard rumors, but he himself did not want to believe it. And currently he doesn't talk about it. He really can't give them too much information. But Vilgax, is a very, very powerful threat to the universe. He's also, well, evil. Now, the minute I turn, him going to press a button on his belt, Adrian to disappear in a flash of red light. And Deku, he has to look down at the board in his hand. Cool. Now, Deku's a turn. Mina is trying to ask if she can ride the board too. And Deku's a turn to his grandpa, who currently the man is going to turn and wave his hand up, somewhat waving off Izuku. Now, the man is going to talk about it. They're gonna go try to find a shop to repair the rust bucket. These two don't go too far. He'll call Izuku whenever things are ready. You okay, Grandpa? I'm fine, Izuku. Just go play with the hoverboard. I need a second to think and figure this all out, alright? Now, Deku's a turn. Him setting the board down as it's going to open up and start to float. Him definitely a lot more surprised. And right now, Deku, he has a leap onto the board and so does Mina. The two are currently going to fly away up into the air. And Mark does a turn back. So it's true. Oh, God damn it. He is alive. We both know he's dead. This can't be him. We don't know for certain that it's him. Taro, you gotta listen to what the boy said. I know what he said, but it could just be somebody else using his name. There's no way it's actually him. You and I both know that. We both saw the explosion. I know. And we both know. Stop. We gotta tell the kids. No, we don't. We don't have to tell them a thing about that. We've had this conversation before. If this is actually Vilgax, I'm not letting that boy face him. Not alone. He needs everybody, all the plumbers there, everybody he can. God damn it. No. Now, Mark does bring his hand up. As for now, Ken, he does remember what happened all those years ago. It almost made him retire. But the thought that Vilgax was dead, buried in the dirt somewhere, maybe atomized by the explosion, or frozen in space, it all gave him comfort. But Vilgax being alive, after his grandson, it freaks him out. And it makes Ken just panic for a second. And Mark himself is trying to hold himself together. However, he remembers that day too. There was a lot more of them. However, faith in the plumbers plummeted after that. And that's not trying to make a joke or being ironic. It's just the sad reality they faced. There used to be a lot more of them. And now there aren't. And that's the problem. As right now Mark and Ken do get a walk inside. Both of them going to sit down and crack open something to drink. Since this is a lot worse than they thought. And currently they do get to send out a broadcast on all emergency channels. Since this broadcast, it's a little different. And some of the people who do get to hear about it, they're not happy. Because the broadcast is simple, plain, short, and to the point. Vilgax is alive. And that was sent through the highest channel. And everybody heard about it. And it somewhat shook some people. Some of them weren't around in the days where Vilgax was around, but they've heard plenty of stories. That guy, yeah. If he is back, it's all hands on deck. And that's the issue. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.